This is an exciting day for me, friends. I get to sit here with you all and talk about my first ever rumour. Isn't this exciting? So, as we are all probably aware of by now, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games has been a fairly consistent series since, 2008? Every couple of years, there would be a brand new Mario and Sonic game, and they would generally be fine. They'd be okay. I know some of the earlier ones were actually pretty damn good, but in recent years, the quality of the series has kind of started to slip, which we'll get into more in a little bit, but it appears that the series is done. Yeah. Apparently, the 2020 Olympics was the last game in this series. This is coming to us from somebody who supposedly worked on all of these games, a fellow called MoqaTea. He posted on Twitter basically saying, there will be no Mario and Sonic game this year for these Olympics, nor will there be a Mario and Sonic game for any future Olympics. And considering the last game was for an Olympics that didn't actually technically happen, that I find that pretty amusing. And I feel like the writing for this was kind of already on the wall, I mean, these games tend to release the year before the Olympics. That's how the whole Tokyo 2020 Olympics situation ended up happening. That game released in June or July of 2019, and then in March of 2020, the world went to shit and the Olympics were postponed. So, didn't actually end up happening in that year. So, yeah. The fact that we didn't get a Mario and Sonic at the Olympics game last year was probably that should have been enough evidence, but I was personally of the opinion that it could still come this year. They might want to try and circumnavigate any potential for what happened with the last game happening again, so they would maybe want to release it in the same year. But I feel like by the time the June Nintendo Direct had came and went, and there was still no announcement for a Paris 2024 Mario and Sonic at the Olympics games. The naming conventions for these games are fucking ridiculous, okay? A Mario and Sonic at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games game probably would have came out by now if it were to be happening. So, that gives a lot of credibility to this rumor. And I haven't personally looked up the credentials of Mr. MoqaTea. But, he seems pretty confident about his assertion that these games are done. And, that's... I don't know. On the one hand, I am a little bit sad about it, right? Because this series was almost a comfort series, in a way, It was nice and predictable. It was an inevitability. No matter how a Nintendo console was doing, you could always guarantee that there would be a Mario and Sonic game. And, there's also a lot to be said about the merit of this series as the only official Mario and Sonic crossover games. They've obviously crossed over a few times in Smash Brothers, but this is a dedicated series of games to Mario and Sonic and their characters and universes being together. And that's just kind of gone now, which is, it's a bit of a shame. I feel like when the idea of a Mario and Sonic crossover comes to mind, a minigame collection based on the real-world Olympics is probably not what what a lot of people would have had in mind. But, you know, it was still a significant part of any Nintendo system's life. And as far as I'm aware, at least, these were the official video game tie-ins for the Olympic Games. And it seems that the Olympic Games, I don't know, whichever company is behind the licensing for the Olympic Games, apparently they're just kind of done with that. I've been seeing conflicting reports on this. I've seen some people say that the company is wanting to move into esports and NFTs in the year of our Lord 2024. Good luck with that one. And I've also seen a lot of people saying that they're just kind of focusing on more like mobile experiences. They're kind of going for like, I think Mr. Cocker himself had mentioned like sort of an Olympics avatar creator app on mobile. I'm not really sure what that would look like, and by the sounds of it, it's not even really like a game in the traditional sense. It just seems like a tie-in app. And it would probably be riddled with microtransactions, but that is besides the point. This was, for all intents and purposes, the video games for the Olympic Games. So it's really strange to see that go, you know? I mean, I feel like for the last Olympics, there was also a mobile app. So maybe the video game tie-ins aren't like, they're not going away completely, but apparently Mario and Sonic are not going to be in the picture after 5 years ago. And you know, it would have been nice to have some sort of official word on this. I feel like this series probably doesn't have like a super avid fan base, but you know, there's still people who look forward to these games and who enjoy playing them. And for those people, they've probably been waiting all of this time, you know, expecting a game to come in 2023 for the 2024 Olympics, and then it just kind of not coming. And then, you know, get into 2024, the Olympics are, as I'm recording this, currently going on, and they still don't have a game, and now it's just some guy on Twitter who's claiming to have worked on these games and saying that they're over, but even that is not official. You know, this guy could be completely full of shit for all we know. So, you know, if this is true, I'd like to hear it from Sega or Nintendo or whichever company is behind the licensing of the Olympics brand, I guess. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how this works, because, you know, the Olympic Games is an event, and there's probably a lot of fingers in that pie. So, yeah, I don't know who exactly is in control of this, but, you know, if those people were to have given an official statement on this, I think that would have been a much better way to learn about this news, you know? But yeah, I guess we will just have to wait on official word to come from one of the involved parties. But for now, I guess we just have to assume that it's true, because if there was going to be a Paris 2024 Olympics game, wouldn't it have happened? Wouldn't we already have it in our hands? Wouldn't we have already played it and reviewed it as kind of mediocre? Yeah, I guess I'll just end this off on my personal feelings on this. I don't know that I'm super affected by this. Like, okay, I enjoyed the 2008 Vancouver games on both the Wii and the DS. I liked the 2010 Olympic Games. I really liked the London Olympic Games. And then that was about where I dropped off the Mario and Sonic train. I have a complete set of this series. I have since played the 2 on Wii U a little bit, like not extensively, but I have played them. And you know, they're actually pretty fun. The events that I gave a go, they were really enjoyable. If I remember right, though, they didn't have, like, those Wii U games, they didn't have, like, the Dream events, did they? The Dream events were the ones that were actually, like, they made the most of the Mario and Sonic crossover angle, and they had a lot of stuff from those games and those worlds, and that was where the fan service really was hiding in those games. I mean, I could be completely wrong. They may have been in the Wii U versions, but what I know for a fact is that they weren't in the Nintendo Switch version. At least I think I know that for a fact. And I remember getting the what was it? The Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games game on the Nintendo Switch. I fucking hate the naming convention. I remember getting that game, and you know, it was in the trailers and everything. They were bigging up the single player aspect of that game, and I was like really excited to go through this campaign. And I got maybe an hour in, if that, and it just bored me to tears. It was excruciating. So needless to say, I did not play much more of it after that. So, you know, on a personal level, not super sad to see this series go. But, you know, one game that I didn't particularly enjoy absolutely doesn't mean that they couldn't have improved for future games, you know? And there's new events in the Paris 2024 Olympics. I think breakdancing comes to mind as a brand new event for that Olympics. We could have seen fucking Vector the Crocodile. we could have seen him busting out some sick moves next to Waluigi. It could have been great. But, yeah. I'll probably... Well, I'll not make any promises, but I might end up doing an update on this whole situation if official news is to break. But yeah, I guess for the time being, let me know how you feel about this series potentially going the way of the dodo. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you want to see Wario and Dr. Eggman in a breakdancing duet? This is very important to me. Thank you very much.